Yo, what's up?
Hey, nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm stoked. I was super excited to be on, so it's dope.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. So I have okay. There's lots we could talk about, like dev stuff. I love to hear about you're working at Twitch now. I love to hear
hmm
about that. Are you doing side jobs on the like as well as your main job now?
Yeah, so I'm definitely right now still working at Twitch, especially with all this stuff going on. In terms of like side gigs, like I'm not like contracting out or doing anything like that, just because like my visa status, I can't actually do any other like side job right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always like making side projects. I'm always like, I'm always hustling. That I'm always on that grind somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, there's so many things you can do, and it's kind of nice to be like, um, having like a full-time job so that you have the income. You don't have to like think about how can these projects make me money. It's just like I
hmm
just feel like doing the project, so I'm going to do it. It doesn't have to be like necessarily a money making thing.
Yeah, but it's like okay, so it's like a you're 100% right where I don't need to worry about where my next paycheck comes from because like I have like a high paying job. However, the side like the counter argument to that is I have to put time into that full-time job.
Hmm.
So I can't dedicate the time to like a side project that I want to because like if work ramps up or some other stuff comes up, like I'm kind of like, forced to do that for the guaranteed like biweekly paycheck. And it also adds like comfortability. Like I'm very comfortable at Twitch. Like I said, it's a high paying job. Is it the most stressful job? Definitely not. Like it's a programming gig, right? So it's like it's a double-edged sword. It depends on who you are. Do you want to be the more comfortable and like more secure, or would you risk it to like bet on yourself? And like I'm in that like fork in the road that I need to discover and like make the decision for myself.
Interesting.
hmm
That's an interesting way to put it. Because like before you started Twitch, you were doing like your own thing, right? You weren't at a regular 9 to 5 before that.
Yeah, no, it was part of a startup. So and that startup was acquired a year into like it was acquired a year like when it was like just a year old basically. Um and so that was like that was like my introduction into like programming, into like a career. It's definitely different than like I guess you can call it a 9 to 5, but it definitely wasn't because like we had to establish our own hours. We had to establish like what we had to do. We had to establish all these other things. And yeah, we got acquired very fast. And then after that I discovered like, get into big tech, get into the fang stuff just to see if I could do it. And yeah, that's kind of the step right there.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah, but no, so you have an idea, especially being in a startup, about the other side of it. Like you're like, I don't know if I want to be comfortable, but it's like, do you want to be stressed?
Yeah,
Do you want to be
exactly.
like, I don't know. I guess that's the question. It
I
does
think
lead to
it
betterment, I guess, but it can be a lot too.
for sure. And like you and I, we know people like in the content creating space and
Hmm.
just like in the tech space that have like fully bet on themselves and have gone the route of like, I'm not gonna take that regular 9 to 5 job and just do my own thing. Um And like I love it when I see people succeed and like they actually made it. And I'm like, wow, like I'm almost jealous, but I'm like motivated. But then like, I see people who don't have that success immediately, and that almost scares me. Where
Mm.
it's like one side, like I'm motivated, like, oh man, they just did it, they made it. Like I definitely think I can, like I'm gonna go and do it. But then there's the other group of people who have more trouble, let's say, or not that immediate success. I'm just like, damn, like I'm happy I'm not in that position. So it's like I don't know where I'm at mentally. So it's such a like back and forth.
Mm. Yeah, no, I understand that, and it's true because I think a lot of the time we do see all of the success stories because they blow up, they're all over the place. You see them and they're
hmm
like, wow, that looks so appealing, and I want to do it. But like, there's a lot of people who try and it doesn't work out that way, and like it's a tough time. So
Very
I think
tough.
it's important to be like realistic about what you're like, what it will take, and how much you need to set up beforehand, and how much what goes into it,
But
and
how
that it
how
is
do
a
people
risk.
know? Like that's my question. Like even if you set up, let's say look, you have money in the bank, you're like, okay, this is good for like X amount, but like there's no guarantee. It's not like, oh, all because I have like savings, I know like within that time before my savings runs out, I'll make it. You know, it's not a
Yeah.
guarantee. Like, what if you
Yeah.
actually run out of money? What if you've been grinding for like 2 years and haven't manifested anything? So yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like you have to take the plunge and
Mm,
you can't half-ass it. Like
mhm.
you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like go all in. When I was in that startup, I was all in. Like I would literally spend days in my basement, like drinking Monster Energy, smoking Juul pods, and just programming. Like I would do nothing, no gym, nothing. Just like that was my life.
Mm.
Um, and at Twitch, it's much different. At Twitch, it's like a 9 to 5. Like after 4, like sometimes 3, I'm just like done. I'm checked out, and I do other stuff.
Huh, what a different lifestyle. And you're
Hmm.
right, it does. I think there's definitely a huge amount of risk because like you said, even if you set yourself up, even if you have this and this plan, like there's definitely going to be an amount of risk.
Always.
Um, but I guess it's also like maybe people should look at it more of like a timeline. Like I have this amount of time that I'm going to try it, and if it doesn't
Hmm.
work out, it's fine. I'll try again later, or like
Right.
I'll feel better about going back to my regular job or something.
Yep.
But yeah. So okay, can I ask you about Twitch? Are you allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm allowed to talk about it for sure. Like, if there's stuff that I can't say, I'll just be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not under any specific NDAs or anything. So yeah, go ahead, fire off.
All right, cool. I'm sure there's a lot of people a lot of devs who'd love to work at Twitch. It seems like a cool, like, it's a cool platform. A lot of people watch Twitch. Seems
Yeah.
like a cool company behind it. Seems like there's like all the staff that I've met so far have been pretty cool.
Hmm.
Um, what's it like working there? Was there anything that was surprising or that you're like, oh, I didn't realize people actually watch Twitch in the office or something like that?
Yeah, that's a cool question. Yeah, you and I only know each other like through Twitch. Like that's how you and I. So like, yeah, it's a super cool platform. Obviously, you and I enjoy it. I would say like when I first joined, it was a little strange. I didn't know like what was I getting myself into. You know,
Mhm.
what was the culture? Is everyone a streamer? Um, so when I like jumped in my first couple of days, I think I was just taken back and I tried to be a little bit more professional. Like I didn't want to like because I streamed before I joined Twitch,
Mhm.
um, and I didn't want to necessarily like tie that in. Like I wanted to like work at Twitch as a developer and like focus on that. So yeah, I came in very like posh and like all that stuff. But now I've been there for like almost 2 years, and the environment's super chill. Like in terms of like hanging out, the people there, everyone's super chill. But like there is like there's certain groups of people, certain teams that have like a super high emphasis on the quality of the work. Like they take it very serious. Like you don't want to commit bad code. You don't want to you know not handle your code carefully. So that's why when I joined, I was like, okay, it's very laid back in terms of like talking and chilling. But then when it comes to like working code, it's like very serious. Like, you don't want to be the person that causes any outages or anything like that.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's got to be like that for most dev jobs, no? Like you don't want to be the idiot and it's like right there in the code. You're like, "Oh, that was me. Can't deny
Yeah,
it."
no, for sure. But it's like, I thought like it was so laid back that everyone's like, oh, you did this, whatever. But it's like, no, like that's like very far from the truth. Like you definitely don't want to be like that person, obviously. And then there's like rigorous code reviews. So
Well, that's probably a good thing that they're
mhm,
meticulous about the code and
yeah.
the code base.
But okay, actually, now that you made me think about it, when I came from the startup world to here, that was actually a struggle point for a while because like in startup world, there is no rigorous code reviews.
Mm.
There's like something's on fire, go fix it until you break something else. And it's like, yeah, there's code reviews just to make sure you're not doing anything dumb, but there's no like guardrails, no steps. There's nothing like too on it like that. And so when I first joined, I was like thinking like, okay, there's a problem. Like I can do this in like like minimal amount of time. I was like all like speed, give me the next task. Speed, give me the next task. Let's launch, let's ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I noticed real quick, like that's not the process here. Like, like take your time with the task, go over it, make sure the quality is like up to snuff. And if you're launching a feature or even a new service, like that's a multi-month effort. Like there's just no other way. You have to make sure all the documentation's there. You thought of everything. Like there's a design document to support like any other like spec that you create. So yeah, very, very different in the startup world and like the indie kind of entrepreneur, like just get something out the door, get people using it. So that was like a huge, huge switch that I had to do. And honestly, sometimes I still struggle with it because I'm like a very like let's get shit done type of person. And yeah, sometimes they're like you gotta calm down. You gotta like, work more on like the quality aspect and like, don't worry, don't focus so much on the deadline.
That's interesting.
Hmm.
So, how did it take you a little while to adjust to that? But now it feels fine. Probably feels better to be like more careful and less stressed out.
I mean, like the senior engineer in me will be like, yes, like definitely it's good to follow practices, like the guardrails are there for a reason, like, but like the entrepreneur in me who wants to just like test stuff out, get stuff going, is still like, no, like we don't need to have all these like protection clauses, like just get something out there and see if people like it, and if they don't, you're back to where you started.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting like decision to do one way or another.
It for sure is. And yeah, that's also like, again, it comes back to this like path thing where it's like which way do you want to go, and I've explored both, and I think I have to make a decision sooner, much sooner than later now.
You mentioned like some of these features that you're working on. Do you ever get to have a say in them, or do you get to like
Oh yeah,
affect
like
how they're made?
yeah, so I'm like a fish like at Twitch, I guess I can say what I do.
Sure.
At Twitch, I'm a machine learning infrastructure engineer, which is like a super like lit title,
Mm-hmm.
but essentially I just work on like backends for machine learning models. So I don't really make like the actual like model itself. I don't train them, but I work with scientists to actually make a system around that model so we can actually be used in a service or whatever it is. Um, and like I'm the tech lead of my team, so I get to say like all the features. I get to say like what goes out, what doesn't go out, um, how we build something. I spec it out basically. So like I would talk to my director and my manager. They would say like, hey, in this quarter, like these are some of the projects we want to do, or these are some things we want to ship. Which one makes the most sense? And all three of us kind of orchestrate like, okay, this is the one that we want to work on the most. So like I specialize in creating like building new stuff. I don't really work on like maintaining. My role is to like launch new stuff for the team. And so we come together, which one's going to be the biggest impact. When we make that decision, I basically take from an idea and like I spec it out. So I
Mm-hmm.
like create all like, what's the architecture, what's the system design behind it, where the system it talks to, how we're going to build it, how we implement it, risks, trade-offs, et cetera, et cetera. And then I'm like, I build it out. Sometimes I get people to work for me, with me, and so I lead them to like different tasks. So yeah, that's kind of what I do, and I would say like I have a big say in our team right now.
That's really cool. That's a really awesome title. Machine learning. What was it?
Infrastructure
Infrastructure. Like, so
engineer, yeah.
what are they using machine learning for?
A lot of stuff
Yeah.
actually. Okay, so you would know, when someone, let's say someone's watching your channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I love what I'm watching, I'm gonna support you. So like they're gonna gift you subs, right? Of course, everyone go gift subs to Lana. So they're gonna gift you like 10 subs, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you something, like where do those 10 subs go to? Who gets them?
I'm always curious about that,
Yeah,
actually.
but like tell me who, like you're
Okay,
streaming right now.
this is what I can gather
Yeah.
is like they don't do just like people in the room, and they don't do just like regulars who watch or lurk or
Hmm.
communicate a lot. It's
Hmm.
like a variety of, I don't know. I'm always like curious. I'm like, is it like really fine tuned? Are they
Yeah.
really like sneaky
So
about it?
that process, that's actually handled by like an a machine learning model. So our goal at Twitch is always to get people to subscribe to the right channel, right? So we don't necessarily want it to give to a random person who doesn't know you at all,
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of like, well, if they're into, I don't know, if they're into gardening, why would they be into game dev or software and development, right? Which is like kind of like your bread and butter,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why would someone be into that?
Mm-hmm.
So we find like, okay, who are the people that are into this? Who are the people that like Lana's content? How similar are they? And then one key thing that we try to go for is like, if we give somebody a sub, will they sub afterwards by themselves? And that's always like our mission statement. And so we've actually trained a machine learning model that investigates these parameters and tries to optimize conversion rate for the people who get the subs. So those 10 subs, yeah, the majority of them will probably go to people who are, in your community, who have been, watching for a minute, talk, maybe even lurk. But it's also people who the model believes will become subscribers naturally afterwards.
I had a feeling it was something like that.
Yeah. And there's a bunch of other ones too for like fraud. Like we protect, a bunch of stuff on Twitch for like fraud, bits, all that stuff. So we have a lot of
Ooh.
models. Yeah.
Sometimes people are like listed as suspicious users and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's someone I know who's not suspicious. Like, why are they listed as a suspicious person? And is that like a machine learning thing?
Yep, that's an
Okay.
ML thing. That's an ML thing. Like they've been flagged.
The AI
Sometimes
thinks
they
they're
are
suspicious.
suspicious. I will be careful. Sometimes they are suspicious, yo. I won't lie. The model knows what it's doing sometimes. But
Okay, I'll keep an extra eye on those
yeah,
suspicious users.
yeah, for sure. It's definitely not 100%, but
Uh-huh.
like I'd be like, do I really know this person?
That's hilarious. I'm gonna look at this with a different lens now.
Yeah, you should. Just like,
Start
double
questioning
take it.
them.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. That's cool. That seems like a really fun part of the dev team to be on. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. It's been a really fun ride, really cool experience. Learned a lot, got a lot of responsibility. So yeah, definitely don't have a lot of complaints.
That's cool. And so what is the culture like at Twitch?
What is the culture like at Twitch? It's like, how do I say this? So Twitch is owned by Amazon, and there's definitely like an Amazon influence within Twitch.
Okay.
And that Amazon influence is kind of like, like what I mentioned earlier, but like, be very careful with your work, like take your work very, very seriously, keep grinding. But like Twitch still has its own entity. Twitch still has its own like personality, flair, and all of that. And the culture within that Twitch space, it's super cool. Like teams are always trying to talk to each other, always trying to learn. There's so much like, have you heard of like lunch and learns, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
That's like everywhere. Like there's like they ask people from different teams to present stuff at all hands, or we have like engineering summits where they try to push every team to talk about the stuff they do, the stuff they work on, and they always like open a door that even if you're not part of their team, if you see something that interests you, like they want to invite you to like maybe like learn more about it, maybe even contribute to it, and like maybe even transfer over to that team if that's something you like. So the culture is very like, find something that you like to do, and then how can we further push you to do that at your highest capability.
That sounds really good. Yeah.
They definitely push. They definitely try to push, like, find what you want to do. If you don't like what you want to do, like, say it right away, and say it right away, and like they'll try and find something that works out for you.
That's good. That's a good quality for a company to have, is to like put you in a role where you're going to be happy, because it's better for everybody if that's the case, really.
Yeah. I'm curious, actually, what is like, how long have you been streaming?
I'm not exactly sure. I haven't done the math, but I think it's something like 7 years.
You're an OG when it comes
I've been around for a while.
Especially when it comes to the science and tech category, like you are the OG. Like there's like you, Fritz.
Yeah.
Fritz, yeah. C# Fritz,
Fritz,
and like CM Griffin, who are like have been doing this since like forever. It feels like, the top G's. And so my question to you, as someone who's been using Twitch and streaming, you've seen that platform grow, release stuff. Like, what is your opinion on Twitch, on the platform, and how has it been treating you?
Good question. I feel like it's complicated. It's complicated. Okay.
Like complicated?
Complicated. I feel like a lot of people message me, like, and they'll be like, oh, they're like people who, I don't think that they watch like live streaming services or anything. And I'll get a message from like a random friend or acquaintance, and they're like, did you see the news? And it's like when what was that competitor that launched, like, that Microsoft had? Not Kick.
Mixer.
Mixer. They're like, this is gonna kill Twitch. You better like, are you okay? Is your career gonna be okay and stuff? I'm like, And like I get
Totally
these messages
fine.
all the time, and then like all the news that it's like Twitch is gonna die. It's like no, it's there's been so many times where people are like this is a Twitch killer. But
Yep.
I think the thing that Twitch does, whether it was intentional or not, is they have like it's almost like a clique a little bit. It's kind of cliquey. Like there's all these emotes, and when you first get there, like what the hell is that? And you feel like an outsider a little bit, but like
Yep.
if you like it, you'll figure it out, and it almost like is incentive for you to like get involved with this platform. And then once you're in, like you are have these inside jokes with all the other people. Like you feel like it, like there's this almost like Twitch culture that came up, I think, organically, and I don't think you
Yep.
can like recreate that or
For
compete with
sure.
that. Even like people are, it's like you're in like the cool kids club or like the inside joke club. Like it's
Mhm.
something almost community forming around that. So I don't know. I really like Twitch. I think it's like a cool platform to be on. It's fun. There's so many people that I've met on there that I really like think are really cool, and like I have like online friends on Twitch. All my audience is on Twitch, so it's almost like, how do I put this? It's not even like a question for me to be like leaving it. So when things do change and there's new features and stuff, like I might like it or not, but like I'm not like I'm out of here. I'm like I'm jumping ship or anything like
Yeah.
that. Like I'm invested with Twitch, and some features I'm happy about, some I'm not, and
Right.
it just really depends.
Cool. Okay. Well, I know I don't want to keep flipping this on you, but I'm so curious because, like, I brought up C Sharp Fritz, and I'm fairly sure. Remember the first science and tech team he made? Maybe you're still part of it. I forget the name. He like made a
Oh,
team, Live Coders.
yeah, Live Coders.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So, look, especially when you started, like, I'm pretty sure science and tech was like very, very small, like much smaller than it is today. Because obviously it blew up. It's like gaining more and more people. Like, how did that aspect reflect for you? Like when you started in this very niche category, like maybe not a few people, everyone kind of knows each other, everyone like stumbles upon here and there, and then seeing it like where it is now, like 7 years or 5 years later, however long you've been streaming, to see it like get to this level, see your own brand grow, see your own career kind of help grow the category and be like associate, like a one-to-one. Like how did that feel for you?
Oh, interesting. I don't know if I see it the same way. Like, because there was a gaming, I think it was like game development and programming before,
Mm-hmm.
and then they switched it to merge it with science and technology.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was like, that was I don't know if you're around during that time. I think you were. You were.
Maybe.
And there was like a lot of animal streams, and then
Oh yeah,
there's like a lot of like weed
the
growing
ducks.
streams.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sometimes there was like a NASA stream, stuff like that.
Yep.
And so
Earthquake streams.
yeah, so it was actually like a pretty big category at that time because it was just so many different things in one, all rolled into one,
Mm-hmm.
which I kind of liked because it meant that people would find that category more easily. And then
Right.
when they like divided it out to game development and software development, like that was now like half of the size. So it was like
Right.
more buried underneath all the games that people are looking at. So it was like harder to find. But then Twitch made it so you can actually, when you search for a stream, or when you search in the thing, it didn't used to say the category. So you would never find software and game development because it would be buried at the
Mm-hmm.
bottom. And it's like it's gotten back up to like the size of that science and tech was before, maybe bigger now.
Yeah.
But honestly, like I feel like it's still underrated. Like so many people come by like every day. Like there's a programming category, there's a
Always.
software, there's a game development category
Always.
all the time.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because like there's so many programmers out there, and maybe they'd have like a co-working stream that they'd like to tune into if they knew about it, but they don't.
Yeah. Do you ever like look at your like live numbers or anything like that? Like, because do you stream every day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you
Almost
stream.
every day.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know, maybe because I would say I'm like very part time. Like, I would stream like 3 times a week, maybe 4. Like, do you ever like look at like the end of your stream metrics or stream analytics and say like, that was like a really good stream, or like, that was a very bad stream, and like, how do you handle like the ups and downs if you even look at it on like a metric level like that?
I do look at it, and I know some streamers are like really adamant, like never look at your concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
But I'm constantly looking at my concurrent viewers because like there's so many factors at play that it's like if you're a radio host and you put on a song and you don't look at like the results of that, and like the number, if you look at if you're actually looking at the results and they plummet when you put a certain song on, you're not going to put that song on again. And like
Right.
not only am I like programming and talking to people and all that stuff, holding conversations, but I'm also playing music as well. So like that is part of it. And like maybe people aren't just feeling like intense, like industrial heavy metal or like something that's like, maybe I shouldn't be, maybe it's like something for me to pay attention to if the numbers drop or if they start rising. It's like, at the end of the day, I think it really, the closest, what's the word I'm looking for? The thing that affects it the most is like my mood.
For 100%.
Yeah. Which
100%.
is harder to adjust than music. And I'm not a very I'm a pretty transparent person, and I code. So it can be hard because like I could be stuck on a bug for like an entire day and I'm stressed out. I'm like throwing shit. I'm like breaking my computer. No, I don't go that far, but I think about it. I talk about it.
Okay. But okay. So let's say you're stuck on a bug, right? Like you're just having like a tough time, like just something's not working out, whatever. And then just to like, rain, when it rains, it pours, you see like your live numbers just like drop, like just like I hit a tank. Like, how do you handle that? Like, how do you handle like what you're trying to do is just not working out. It hasn't been your day. And then your viewers are like noticing that off your vibe. And they're like, you know what? Like, I'll watch later. I'm going to tune off. Right. And then you see your numbers just kind of drop. Like, how do you handle that double whammy? Because that happens to me sometimes when I have like a awful day at work or whatever, and I go to stream, and for whatever reason, like my stream numbers just like are not it. Like they're just like not today, I'm just like I'm streaming to like 13 people, like what's up,
right.
And it's just like, dude, like I'm gonna try to be like as happy as I possibly can, but like it affects you. It affects like maybe like people don't like me anymore. Maybe they're tired of me. Maybe like all this. Like, how do you handle it? Because I'm extremely curious about like how an OG master like you does it.
Yeah, definitely master. But no, I think that's something that is not talked about enough maybe on like streaming platforms, is how, like you're saying, and it goes both ways. Like if your numbers just start growing and you're like, oh my god, everyone's watching, and you're like, you get happy, and like then more people watch because you're in such a good mood, and you're like, oh, things are going well today. And like when it's going negative and you're like, maybe you're in a bad mood, it's going worse, and you're like, oh, nobody wants to watch. Like these things go through your head. Yeah. But sometimes it's just like just one of those days, and it could be like I know that I can't be if I stream every single day, and especially I'm a programmer, it's stressful.
Yeah.
If I stream every day, I'm not going to be happy every single day, and some days it's just like you said, it's just not it, and that's okay. And on those days, sometimes if I'm really not feeling it, I'll just be like, I'll do a shorter day. But some days, especially if I have specific tasks I want to get done with my game that day, I'll try to just at least get those tasks done, not think about it, just be like, it's just one of those days, just focus on the actual work that you're doing, and don't worry about the streaming, because the game needs to get done whether or not people are watching the stream. And so I just do my thing. And a lot of the time, like when I get into my work and stop thinking about it, get out of my head, I end up like cheering up, and people want to watch more, and it just goes up again anyway.
It's pretty cool because like for you, like it's like you have two careers blended into one. Like you have your incredible game development career, and then you have this like content live streaming career, not only in the live stream, but like even now the podcast, everything that you do, right? So like you can treat them mutually exclusive. Like you can do game development without actually going into the content side. But for you, it's like you do game development while you stream. So like you kind of like doing both at the same time. So like I think that's incredible. Like having like the mental like capacity to handle like a shitty day game development that could turn into a shitty day streaming, but then like a great day game development can turn into like one of your best days streaming. So that's crazy. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, thank you. They do like feed into each other really nicely, because they're like game development, you're going to be spending a lot of time doing game development. Streaming, the more time the longer your streams, the more time more consistent you are, the more you're on, it's the only time you're really going to grow on Twitch, right? So like,
for sure.
They feed into each other nicely, and it helps me like stay sane, I guess, because if I was just doing game development by myself, I feel like it would be like really mentally trying to just be alone doing that all the time. Also, you mentioned like, how do I forget what you said exactly, but you mentioned something about like how you can feel, how like if I have a bad day with coding, it can make me have like a bad day streaming. But honestly, like I think you also get used to or at least I've gotten used to it over time, like just saying sometimes just saying like your negative thoughts out loud until it's like sounds ridiculous and it's just a joke and you just like laugh at your own stress and problems and like sometimes it's actually helpful and it turns it around, and it's not doesn't have to be a bad stream just because I'm stressed on a bug. Sometimes it's just as fun.
Nice. That's cool that you can like separate it.
Yeah.
I definitely can't.
No?
No way. No way. If I'm in a bad mood, like the stream's gonna be tanked for sure. Like my whole
Sorry, what do you usually stream? Do you stream like your side projects? You're not allowed to stream actual Twitch stuff, right?
No, I can't actually stream any Twitch code. Yeah, that I cannot do. When they found I'm a streamer, I think I'm the biggest well, besides the CEO, I'm the biggest streamer on Twitch at Twitch. And when they found out like what I stream, because like when you say streamer, they're like, oh, like you're a gamer. And it's like, no, actually, like I actually stream coding, programming. They're like, wait, what? You don't stream like work stuff, right? So I've been like, I had a few conversations with a few people, a few directors, like, hey, really cool that you're streaming, but like obviously don't stream what you do for work. And I'm like, yeah, loud and clear, gotcha. But for like, yeah, on stream I do a lot. So, like, I do some side project stuff. I do a lot of like, it's almost like a podcast hybrid style that I've been exploring, where I'd have like Excalibur, which it's an app that allows you to like jot down notes or like make diagrams. And I've been really like lately really into like helping people break into like a career in tech and things you could do if you don't come from like a natural back. Like, I don't have a computer science degree, and I was able to break into tech, right? And so I like talking about those things, sharing my thoughts, sharing approaches, and just like tidbits to like junior engineers or like people who are older but want to do a career switch, and like how can I help them get to their goal faster, and what are some things they need to know, because I'm going to be honest, like a lot of people go into tech because of the money. Like software engineers make a disgusting amount of money. Like I'm always upfront, like we make way more than we should. And a lot of people hear about that and they're like, oh, I want to make a lot of money. Like I'm not making that much money right now, my regular job. And that's a great motivation factor, but you have to be realistic. Like it takes a lot of effort to get to that level. So I always try to like, explain to people what that is, how to get there, what's the fastest way to get there, and like things I recommend to focus on.
Cool. Yeah, last time I came by your stream, you were giving some tips like that, and they were really good tips that I was like,
thank you.
Anyone who's wanting to get into, especially FAANG tech companies and like tech companies in general, like those are things to listen to and look for, because when someone's gone through the process and they're willing to share some of the stuff that they learn, like that's invaluable information, because you don't have to go there, fail, learn it the hard way. You just like listen to someone talk about it and then now
That's actually what happened to me. I didn't know any of this before. Like when I got into FAANG, I had no idea about like LeetCode, data structures, and algorithm. And when I was looking, I applied to Google and I got an interview. I'm like, oh, sick. Like I'm just gonna like, what can I do? Like ask me to code. I know how to code. Like I'm not too worried about that. Side projects, I talked to him about that. I felt very confident, but I didn't know that like it's a completely different like style and approach to these interviews. So this dude just gave me a question, and it was a LeetCode question. I was like, I have no idea what to do. Like I literally stared at the question. I didn't even understand it. It was like invert a binary tree and do some other stuff, and I'm just like, what's a binary tree? And like that was a harsh realization. Like obviously I didn't get it, no surprise. But then I like I'm like, what is this? What just happened? Because I thought I was getting interviewed for a machine learning role. They didn't ask me a single machine learning question. So I was like, what, did they mess up? Like, well, what the hell did I was so confused. But then I realized like that's the norm. That LeetCode is what you need to do. And so, yeah, like I learned by like not having these tips. And so I'm just like, if I can like help some random Chad not go through what I had to go through, like lose a Google interview, then yeah, job well done. Because you're also blacklisted. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So if you fail any interview at a FAANG company, you're blacklisted. So you can't apply for like 13 months.
Sucks.
Yeah, I know.
One interview where you're like, oh shit, I need to learn this stuff. You go learn the stuff, and well, at least it's 13 months. So you got it like just over a year. You can go on.
Yeah, but it's so funny that you can't apply to any other Google job. Like if you fail one, they're like, yep, come back.
We hate you now.
Yeah, like see you later. Like you're not worthy. And you're like, damn, okay. So yeah, you want to make sure if you have to go through that experience, do it once. Don't do it for like all the big tech companies, because you're literally gonna not be able to apply.
You get blacklisted from that one company, not all of them, right?
Only one, yeah, only the
Okay, I
one
was like, wait a
company.
minute.
Yeah.
They all are like, oh, we heard about that guy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that guy sucks. Nah,
That's funny.
that'd be ridiculous.
And that's funny that you say that people are like, oh, oh yeah, people are like, I want to become a programmer because I make a lot of money.
Yeah.
People ask me about that sort of thing all the time. I'm like, do not go into programming because you want to make money. Like, you can make pretty good money doing probably less intense stuff, or at least game development. I say, like, game
Game
development
development.
is this like competitive. Like, you can make really good money in game development if you work for a good studio and you have a good job and
Yeah.
you've got a lot of experience. But to get to that point is so much work. Like, you have to love what you're doing, because if you're doing it just for money, you're gonna hate your life.
Yeah.
It's so much work, so much learning, so much
Game
dedication.
development has that rep. Like, I don't know anything about game development. Zero. Like, literally zero. But just from like meeting people and like, knowing, I guess, people in different areas of programming, like game development, it's like one of those where like, yeah, you're gonna work a lot. It's gonna be tough, and like you probably won't be compensated that equals the effort necessarily putting in. Like, it's like there's that, like, they always say if you're game development, like you really gotta like games to get into it. Like, that's gotta be your thing. You can't go in it for the money.
Yeah, it's true. I think even programming, like, you have to actually enjoy it, because I
Hmm.
think it really is like a way of thinking that if you don't enjoy it, I couldn't imagine programming and not enjoying it. That would be it's already stressful and I love it. I couldn't
There's
imagine not loving it.
there's
Like,
people that are like that. I know people
really?
who are like, yeah, they're like, I hate programming. They literally say like, I hate programming, but they do it for the money. Like, literally, like, up front, they don't hide it. They're like, that's just my 9 to 5. I just do it and that's it. I don't think of programming like at all afterwards.
Oh, what a
Hmm.
life.
I know, I know. But I think, honestly, like, I'm not going to speak on like on anyone's behalf, but I think that only takes you so far. You know what I mean? Like, you can only
Mhm.
do that for so long until you literally like have like a mental breakdown, or like you're, get into like a depressive state. And I think they've actually like quit and don't do programming work anymore because it's just like not for them. The money's not worth it.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's yeah, I can imagine any money being worth like I said, the stress of programming if you're not
Yeah.
enjoying the process. It's not like a fun puzzle. It's just like a problem.
It's just, yeah, yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's a good way to think about it. And
Yeah.
like for me, like I really like for me, the biggest appeal for programming is like I always associate to like magic. Like, it's like the closest thing we have to like literally making something happen out of nothingness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
you build games out of nothing. You're like, I have this idea, so I'm gonna go ahead and you program it, you do all this, you do your thing, and you make a game. For me, like if I have like an app idea, I start from nothing, but then I type things out and like it literally appears out of thin air and I get to control it, how it looks, how it functions. So it's like the closest thing to magic. I think that was my biggest like appeal to it.
Same. That's exactly why that's thank you for bringing that up. That is what drew me to programming and eventually game development,
Hmm.
because it almost feels like Harry Potter, like
Yeah,
you now
yeah.
have like literally like a special ability if you can
Hmm.
program. Like, you can do things that you can do anything. You can like
Literally.
there's so many things you can do.
Yep. Yep. So many. And you can go from like game dev, app dev, web dev,
Mhm.
like pure backend stuff, like machine learning. Like it's constantly growing, like AI. So yeah, I think it's crazy. I always tell people like they should get into programming. They should try it. Like, everyone should try it. You know, I think it's one of those things like it may not be for you. And I actually have a story. Um, I was tutoring this girl. She was like 19, 20,
Mhm.
like very young.
Mhm.
And her dad was actually one of my viewers. And he
Okay.
hit me up. He's like, hey, I love your content. I was wondering, would you be willing to like tutor my daughter into programming? Because I think because he's a programmer, but he's like, I can't teach her. She just doesn't listen. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Like, that seems fine. Like, no problem. And she was awesome. She's smart, very capable. But it came very clear after like the third and fourth session that like she was only programming because she had to. Like,
Mm.
she was only programming for our tutoring sessions. She was only programming if I gave her homework. Like, it was like I was setting it up like at the end of the session, like, okay, so here, like, you have all this stuff, like, now go wild, like you have like we have the boilerplate, the framework done, we set it all up, like, now go do your own thing, like, go have fun with it. And like it would be a week and it would be untouched. and there'd be like someone like, oh, I got busy with this and this, but like when you really love something, you do it. You're never too busy for the things that you love. So it came very clear to me that she was doing because her dad basically told her like, go do this, and it worked. And like I said, she was doing it, but eventually like she came to her own conclusion. She's like, this isn't for me. Like I tried it, it's cool, it's just not for me. And I'm like, I applaud you for that. Like I have your back. Like it's been a pleasure. Like, well, good luck with anything you do. So try it, and if it's not for you, just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good suggestion. And there's a lot of people who I would never have expected in my regular life who have said to me, I'm thinking about programming. Would you have any suggestions on how to get into it? And I'm like,
Yeah.
you are interested in programming? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, yes, like I would love to see you program. Like maybe you'll love it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, because like I think a certain type of people tend to be drawn to it. So other people never really try it or get exposed or even know like where or how to begin.
Yeah.
So unless you're like on the computer all the time, like I was before I started programming, or most people probably were, and like kind of which way to go, or maybe you have an education system that supports programming, which not everyone does.
Yep.
Or did. And yeah, I think it's cool for people to give it a try and see if they like it, because you never
I
know.
was the opposite. I was
Really?
never on my computer. Never. Yo, no. In high school, never. You wouldn't catch me on a computer ever. Like I never had a computer in high school. I like didn't have any like labs in university. I didn't spend any, like I only used my laptop for like torrenting PDFs. Like that. I remember I had like a MacBook Air that I literally only used for like creating PowerPoints and and torrenting PDFs. Never.
PDFs?
Yeah, for like textbooks and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smarter than buying them for like $500 a piece.
Yeah, there's no way. I didn't have the money to do that, so I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna like find my way. But yeah, I would never spend any time on the computer. Yeah, so that was funny. Like I now I spend all my time on the computer. I'm like hooked onto this. It's like my lifeline. But before, like no way.
So then how did you get into it in the first place if you weren't even on the computer much?
Okay. So it's a funny story. I've said this before, like a few times, like on stream, because everyone's like, dude, like you're such a Chad. Like, what the hell? How are you? Like, what are you doing? And I always talk about like going to the gym, playing sports. And I was like, how are you? What am I watching right now? Right? Like, are you even real? But yeah, so I went to school for like a different degree, blah, blah, blah. Realized I hated it. Like,
Wait,
I
what
was
was
like,
the degree?
mechanical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, realized I didn't like it. Wasn't for me. It was fine. It just like blah, wasn't for me, right? And then I in my last semester, like I was graduating, like in a couple of months, I realized programming was just badass because I was doing projects with like robotics a lot, like mechatronics. And so I was part of this lab, and I met a few people. Like I would do like the hardware stuff and like build this stuff because I was a mechanical engineer, and like I would see the programmers have their laptops and like go like do their magic. And I met this dude, and he was like a cool dude. Like we became really cool friends. And then I was like, man, like what are you doing? Like what is programming? And he showed me it, and I would remember like looking at his computer. It was like his IDE had so many different colors. He was doing all this cool stuff, and I'm like, yo, that's like pretty cool. He's like, yeah, it is. And then he was like, and I love it that it pays me so much money. I'm like, well, how, like, because he was my year, we're both like interns at different fields. And he's like, yeah, like I'm making like $150,000 at my internship. I'm like, bro, what? Like, I actually didn't believe him. And he's like, yeah, dude, like I get to build this cool stuff and they pay me a lot of money. I'm like, are you serious? Like I actually I was floored by it. And so I instantly tried to get into it for the money. Like that was my I just tried to switch careers into money for the money. Like I was floored. And then as I started doing it, I realized how awesome it is. So I was like hooked by like the money, but then like I continued due to the passion I found for it. So then I just started programming. I just I literally stopped doing everything. I stopped going to the gym, stopped hanging out with friends, stopped going out on Friday nights, Saturday nights, literally program like 10 hours a day. Nonstop. And I started streaming. That's like one of the reasons why I started streaming, because I couldn't focus. Like it was hard for me to like pick up and like learn like all these programming stuff if wasn't at school for it.
Mhm.
And so I just stream myself like at night, like 10 p.m. to like 4 a.m., just like learning how to code. And fast forward, here I am today.
Wow. That's
Hmm.
so interesting. So you actually went into it for the money and you've discovered you love it as well.
Yeah. I straight up, I was like hooked about like, dude, there's no way this like guy my age is making more like directors at the companies I was interning at. And then I
Right.
realized like what you can do. And I actually first started with like web dev, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like I was like, oh, but you know what? Eventually I'll get a job that pays me a lot of money. And then I found like machine learning and AI and back end work. And that's when I stopped even thinking about money. I was like, dude, I just want to do this. Like I just want to
Hmm.
constantly be programming and doing this stuff.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you taught yourself all online stuff?
Yeah. So I'm self-taught completely. I didn't go to school for programming. I just like I learned through like Udemy and YouTube and like building stuff. That's basically it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the startup helped too. Startup helped me learn like more like practical things like Git, Docker, all those like concepts. And then like at Twitch, I learned a lot of like how to like do proper code, proper coding principles. I learned Go, like Golang. So
Okay, so how you mentioned the Google interview. How was the interview process for Twitch?
oh, the interview process at Twitch was so I was aware that to be like a Fang like interview process.
Hmm.
Um, but it was actually pretty cool. Like, um, first it was like a recruiter, like someone like reached out and wanted to talk to me, like, why do I want to be here? Who are you? And I remember when I applied, I actually put like I'm a streamer. And I remember I put some like nonsense lie. I was like top 0.5% of programming streamers or some, just like a straight up lie, But I'm like, yo, this is a good hook. I doubt it was gonna check because it's such a small category. Like I'm just gonna go with it.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing they asked, like, you're a streamer? Like you have viewers? I'm like, yeah, I'm a programming streamer. Um, so got through the recruiting phase, technical screener, it was just a leak code. They just sent it to me,
Hmm.
did it, and then they invited me to the on-site, but it was virtual. So like I had to do it like, kind of set up here, like camera, mic, talk to them. And yeah, I met like my manager, my hiring manager. He's like talking to me what the position was, see if he liked me. Um, then I met like a few scientists. They asked me a few questions, blah, blah, blah. And then like more technical stuff and then a system design question. Um, and I remember I actually failed the technical question. Like one of the
Hmm.
technicals, I failed, bombed it. Like just couldn't even like get myself going. And I remember like, yo, I just like failed that interview. That sucks. Um, but then I did well in the system design interview, and that kind of balanced out. And they're like, yeah, we prioritize more of the system design over like the technical lead code. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah,
That's cool that they're like, we get that this is your strengths, maybe your weakness, and like you got what we need. We'll figure
yeah,
out the
exactly. I
rest.
actually really think they enjoyed like. I really think they were willing to take a chance just because of how much they liked me and what I presented.
Hmm.
They're like, you're a good fit for our team, and you're like, you add something to the team that we don't have right now, which was like more that not from a skill point, but more like a like I want to work, let's get stuff going, like more like making the environment more fun.
Mm.
And I think I really like showcased that, like that I could add that to the team, and they're like really value that. So, and there's a bunch of other candidates too, probably more capable than me, but I stood out somehow. So,
Hmm.
still
I guess
grateful for that.
there's a lot that goes into finding the right fit for a role, and it's not always 100% skill. It is about,
Hmm.
like you said, maybe motivating the team or keeping
Yeah.
a good environment, keeping a good atmosphere, because that's definitely an important part of an office, is like a place where it's enjoyable to work and people are happy there.
Would you ever think of like hiring like an intern or something to help you?
I don't know. I really like sitting down and making the game and getting it done, and like contracting out people when I need to. So it's like it's kind of like easy. I don't have to have like how do I put this? It's very flexible. It's very low pressure, and I can just do things however I want, which is nice.
You like to be in
But
control?
I'm not opposed to the idea of like maybe down the road one day doing it like a more like a studio and like hiring people
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I think I'd want to do it like differently than standard,
Okay.
because I think there's we get into these roles and these routines that we think are best for everybody, or we just assume this is kind of the average and it's best for everybody. Like, isn't it kind of weird that there's a 40-hour work week? Like,
It is.
every single person, we need you to be here for exactly 40 hours for every
Mm-hmm.
type of job, for every type of person.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, that's coincidental. Like, exactly 40 hours, not a second over. So, like, maybe
That's
things can be more
hilarious.
flexible depending on the role, depending on the project, depending on the person and their strengths. Maybe some people get a lot done in 5 hours and they don't need to be there 8 hours. They can be more
Yeah.
performant if you just give them like a shorter time block. I don't know. Just
Yep.
I think that there's a lot of cool stuff you can explore if you're like able to. In bigger companies, not so much able to. There's a lot.
For sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah, bigger companies like very bureaucratic, like set in stone, right?
there's a reason for that, and I understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
it'd be fun to kind of explore and see what kind of office and company can be made if you are willing to try things out.
Yo, I got a question. Like, I have to ask you. Like, this is like what you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I need to like, how do you handle like? We talked like dips and like viewership, like the momentary like dips and like a day. But like, what if like you spent like months on a game and it launches and it's a flop? So like right now, like I'm invested heavily into like making YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like putting a lot of time into it, like focusing, studying it, and I'll make a video and like it would pop off. I'd be like, oh, yes, great feeling. And then I would spend more time or equal amount of time, and it would flop, like super flop. All right, and it's yeah, it's like
It sucks.
yeah, it sucks. But like, how do you handle that? Because like flops on your magnitude, especially for like a game that you've like put in like a lot of work in, like that's not just like a that's not like a oopsie, like better luck next time. That's like a, oh, like, okay, like that's like that was a lot of my time that just got into this, like, and like the results were not met.
I mean, I think that's where the stress comes from.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, like that's obviously not what I want to have happen as a flop.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's why I'm testing early, testing often, getting feedback, and like, yeah, it's taking time to make it, but the scope that increases is because the game needs things to be more enjoyable or needs better art, because the feedback I'm getting is it doesn't look good, or the feedback I'm getting is I don't like this feature, so I need to make it better. Like, it does mean that I'm spending more time on it, but I am also going into this with not just no expectations, but like with the understanding of possible poor results. Okay. So let's say the game let's say nobody buys the game. 0 people. I finished the game, I put it out there, and nobody buys it. Okay. I just finished a game. Like, do you know how hard it is to finish a game? Like, that's a success to me. Like, just finishing the game, publishing the game, that will be like, I'll feel so good just about doing that. Especially one of this size and all of the complexities it has.
Massive.
And then I'm like making a living doing this, and I love the process so much. So, everything that comes out of this game is like bonus sprinkles on the cake. Like, I'm happy if it flops. If it's better than that, amazing. I'm gonna try for it, obviously.
For sure.
But yeah.
No, I'm gonna get. You're at least gonna have one person, because I promise I'll buy the game for sure.
Even better. There's a win.
I don't play games. I'm not a gamer at all. I've like retired from that. But to support like the homies, like obviously I'm always gonna buy the stuff that they put in like so much work into. It's like a part of them. So.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And now I don't have to worry. There'll be at least one.
At least one. So you got that.
Really
so you won't be it won't be a 0 self flop.
There we go. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to ask you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
There's been like drama about Twitch lately. Can we talk about it?
For sure.
Okay. So first of all, what is the attitude of like the staff when Twitch does something and there's like controversy, like, oh, everyone's mad at Twitch suddenly for whatever reason this time? What's this? Are the staff like, ooh, or are they like, no, why did we do this? This was a bad choice.
Like, so the thing I noticed at Twitch And even like, so a lot of the stuff that happens, like we're obviously talking about the public stuff, you know, like that, like everyone hears about, and it's obviously not great, right? Nobody wants this, but you know, there's internal stuff that happens on a day to day, like stuff breaks, people do like, you know, oopsies, all that stuff. And one thing I've actually noticed is no one points the finger. No one, no one is ever like, this is this person's fault, and like blah blah blah. Everyone's always just like, let's get on a team to resolve it. Like they don't even think of like who caused it, why did it do this. It's like, how did it happen? Let's fix this problem. And then it's always people trying to own up to it. Like everyone's like, this is actually my fault. I should have done this, this, this. Another person's like, no, this is actually my fault. Like you could have done this if I, you know. So it's never been a finger pointing game.
So funny.
And like the attitude towards like staffers when like something like if Twitch is in the limelight for whatever reason, it's always like, you know, it like I said, it sucks, but it's never like, oh man, like why do we do that? Or it's never like, oh, I wish I wasn't staff for now. It's always like, yeah, like that that is what it is. And we know like the intention of Twitch is never to like hurt anyone, hurt our creators, hurt like the channels or whatever. So we're always like, okay, that was like, you know, that was our bad for like not doing a better job of delivering what we want to deliver. Whether it's through messaging, whether it's how we message, when we message. So it's always like, how can we do better to make sure that people understand what our main goal is? It's tough. It's tough. There's so many people using it. There's so many different competitors. Um, but yeah, like especially when people have been at Twitch for like years, like over 5, 7, 8, 10 years, it's always just like, yeah, let's just keep moving forward. Let's just think of how we can still be better and like build a better product for the people that want to use it and for our creators. Which is such a not a good answer that you wanted. I know you probably want a little bit more spicier drama take, but that is as honest I can give you. Like we're just like, we're aware of it always, but we never like huddle up and talk about it. We're never just like whispering about it, like, well, what if that happens? What if this happens? Like everyone's just like, yeah, you heard what happened? Yep. All right, cool.
I'm really glad to hear that the company is so focused on fixing things rather than pointing fingers, because that I feel like is such a toxic vibe in a company when they're like, oh, it was your fault, like you screwed us up, and like it's so funny to imagine be like, it was my fault. No, it was my fault.
Literally, yeah. And like it's tough because like I watch a lot of like these creators like Moist Critical or, you know, Ludwig. Like I watch these people like regularly, and like when they, you know, when they create like a piece of content that's like Twitch is dead or something, you know, it's like, damn, like you obviously don't want to see that. And so like, you know, we see that and like, you know, how can we change their mind? How can we like, you know, make it better? Or like what can we do to make it better? So it's definitely tough because there's such a big platform that so many creators use, and the only things that seem to get talked about is like what we do wrong or like how we messed up or like what we could have done better.
That's true.
That's why like
people have a lot of opinions about how Twitch operates.
I'm in the back with machine learning models because like not most of the time you don't even know what I'm doing. The users do not interact with my stuff, so I'm like in trenches. No one knows my back end stuff. Like I'm not configuring, but I'm not configuring layouts. None of that. I'm just like doing my thing.
You're in a safe space. Then you're good.
Yes, exactly. I'm not in the firing range.
Does everyone in the company watch streams? And are you allowed to watch during the day?
Yeah. So first of all, not everyone watches Twitch. Like a lot of people on my team don't watch Twitch. They're just like, yeah, we don't watch it like at all. Yeah, which is like kind of funny. You're definitely allowed to watch Twitch like on while you're working, but like one thing that you and I talked about like this whole time is like, you know, like what you do, like be passionate about program if you're gonna be a programmer, but like if you are gonna work for a company, like it's so much cooler to work for a platform that you use. Like I use Twitch and I work for Twitch. Like that's awesome. I couldn't imagine working for like I don't know, like what do I not use? Like
looking around like, your room to find something you don't use is gonna be hard.
Let's say I work for like some sort of like trucking company, like software for trucks. All right, I pulled that out of nowhere. It would be so much worse because it's like a 9 to 5. You're working for someone else, and you're working on something that you actually don't care about. Like you literally do not care if this product looks green or magenta. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Twitch, I'm literally on, like I literally have a tab of Twitch open right now. Like right now, you know? And it's cool to say like, I go and build and work for this platform.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's good to hear that like you have that at your workspace.
Mhm.
Do you okay, this is a kind of a weird one. Do you guys at the
Yep.
company like interact with some of the streamers, especially like the big ones who are such a
Yeah.
huge part of the platform?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually one of the coolest get parts. Like we have like for like really big streamers, we have like not everyone could just talk to a big time streamer. Like not everyone can like talk to XQC or whatever. We
Hmm.
have like PR teams that handle that, like talk to them directly. And, like every big time streamer that you know has one person associated to them. So like every big time streamer, Kai, XQC, if they have a problem, they obviously don't go to support. They don't make a support ticket. Like they go to the contact, that contact routes it right away to like higher ups. Because you know the biggest streamers are like the people we value the most,
Right.
or like some of the people we value the most, right? Like we value everyone. Um, but another cool thing is like you've seen my staff badge, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So when I go, like when you go to a big time streamer chat, someone with like 20,000 viewers, like that moves fast, and it's gonna be hard for you to stand out. But with that staff badge plus the partner badge, like I would say like 8 out of 10 times I get a hello or I get recognized by big time streamers like Emaru or Hassan Abi, like Tyler One. Every time I've gone to the chat, they've said, hey, like even I was on Moist Critical. I went on Moist Critical's chat yesterday and I said, hey, Moist. He's like, hey, Mulkey. Just like stuff like that. Like, it's kind of
That's
cool.
cool.
So yeah.
That's nice. And that's interesting that the big ones have like I mean it makes sense that they have a contact that part's not surprising. Do you ever get like as at the dev team, are they ever like, oh, like our big streamer is doing like an event and there's like
Yeah.
a technical problem and like it's
Yeah.
like on fire. We need you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Happens all the
happens.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so it's mostly for like events actually. Like if someone's doing like a
Yeah.
big LOL event or you know like a Valorant event, like we have to
Mhm.
make sure our systems can handle that traffic on a Saturday. Or like if it's a specific European tournament, we have to make sure that like our servers on that specific time can handle the new load that's going to come in. So yeah, we definitely are very well aware of like planned things, but sometimes you can't plan for it. Like one of the beauties of Twitch, you can't plan for it. Like stuff just happens.
Yeah.
You don't know if someone's going to get like 100 subs or like 100,000 subs, right? So we try to make all of our infrastructure handle the loads, but yeah, sometimes like something big happens, like my system, the one that's in charge of like gifting, that definitely flares up.
Hmm. Interesting.
Hmm.
So you must not be personally like on call for these types of things.
I am.
Oh, you are.
I'm on
Yeah.
call. Yeah, for my team. My team's on call is very weird, but like because I'm the tech lead and like I'm technically on call every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on call like every single day. If something like really breaks, like we have on call rotation, but like if something really breaks, I have to like go in and fix it.
What if you're like just somewhere not available or it's like you have to be available all the time?
I don't like if I'm like in the Bahamas or like somewhere and I don't have a phone, like yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Like that's just what it is. But like for me to be put in that I would have to let someone know. Like I can't just go and leave. Even if I'm like on vacation, like I have to specify what my vacation is when I request it. Like, and they're like they don't say like no, you can't take vacation. They always say like go take a vacation and tell it. But like they're always like, what kind of vacation is it?
Mhm.
Are you going to be like available in case stuff
Oh wow.
goes
Okay.
off,
Wow.
or are you gone? Because they need to plan for that. Because if I'm gone, they need to have like a backup engineer to like realize what's going to happen if shit hits the fan.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And so like do you just not like even drink alcohol or anything like that since like you wouldn't be able to probably do things properly? They call you, you're like, I'm at the bar.
That's such a wild question.
That would suck though. Imagine like out with your friends, you're like having a few drinks and then
Oh
they're
my
like,
god.
yo, we
Yeah.
need you right now. We need you to do something super intense and
Yeah.
it's only you who can fix it. Like I would just not
Lu-
ever drive. Like I'll just find fun in other things.
luckily, my team severity isn't that extensive. Like we're like there's different level severity. Like teams that are like super sev, like yeah, but those team have like a rotating on call. So like when you're on call, like yeah, you probably like even on a Friday night, you probably can't get too sloshed.
Hmm.
Because we're like in between, like we're not the most severe, but like we're like a notch up. Like I can do whatever I want. Because even if something completely breaks, like one of the systems we have completely breaks, like we can wait a few, like, let's say half a day before I have to fix it. So,
Okay.
if I am just out sloshed and something does break, like, they're not going to be like, dude, where were you? They're like, okay, like, go fix it now.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But I
Well,
don't drink. I actually been completely sober this whole year.
there you go. That's honestly, like when you're on call like that, I feel like it just kind of gives you an incentive not to drink.
Or
So
maybe an incentive to drink because you're
maybe.
constantly on call. Yeah, like.
So that's good. That's a good lifestyle, healthy. And you go to the gym a lot, you mentioned.
Yeah, all the time.
All the
Yeah, I
time.
go to the gym, train like jujitsu. I try to swim. I like saunas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of like the physical health style in like programming and like tech, because I think a lot of the time like that goes like under the radar.
Yeah, it
I
does.
think I think a lot of people like really get into like just sitting down, not too ergonomic, and I just try to be like a little perspective on like different things that you can optimize. Like even my keyboard, like I have a split keyboard because like when I have a small one, I could use it no problem, but like it pinches my neck and like I get uncomfortable, like I bend, and like it's just not healthy for me in the long run.
Right.
So I'm always like, spend the most money on like good equipment for your body and go like do physical health, like be physically active.
Yeah, no, I agree with that as well. Like I think it's so easy to put your health as a low priority and it gets
Yeah,
ignored. And when you're doing any kind of like intense job or like learning or education with like programming, that kind of thing, that's easily one that can go, like you said, under the radar or totally ignored
easy,
easily. And
especially
like
like
you're
the
sitting
age
down all day, like
all day.
it's not good for you. Like you don't really, thing is, you don't really feel it because it's not like you're out there doing like hard labor. So you're not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
sore, but like over time, it wears on you. I think both like your neck, your eyes, there's strain on your body. And then as
Hip
well, I think it's bad for your mental health to not exercise and just sit in this
for
chair all
sure.
day.
Yeah, for sure. Like the mental health one is like the biggest. Like if anyone's actually struggling, if they're gonna listen to this, and, like they're struggling like lately, like I would honestly take a break and just go like do something. Like go to the gym, go swim. I think swimming is the best thing you could do. Even go for a walk, go outside. Like I start every morning like by going outside. Like I wake up
Hmm.
and the first thing I do is like go outside. I take like a quick stroll. I grab like some water and I like drink the whole water and go outside because I want that sun. I want that like outsideness in my system ASAP.
That is pretty impressive. I can't say I do that.
You
I did
should.
actually do that for a little bit in the winter.
Okay.
Because I was
Canadian
not going
winter.
outside a lot. Yeah, I know.
Jeez.
I'd make a coffee and just like go sit outside, sit in the sun,
Uh
have
huh.
some fresh air, and then like
That ice
start
cold
my stream
blizzard
right
fresh
after.
air.
It's actually, because I would sit like in my doorway. It was actually like, and it's like protected from the wind. So it would just be like the sun beaming down
Oh,
and like I
nice.
could have a little bit of heat coming onto me. So it was like, it's actually really nice. And then I'd start my stream and I was like, hey everyone, I'm
Yeah.
feeling good today.
Yeah, you get refreshed. You get the
Yeah.
coffee, you get the sun. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. No, that's good that you do that. It's inspiring
Hmm.
actually. Maybe I'll start doing that again, going outside,
You should.
touch
You
some
should.
grass.
Yeah, touch some grass. Exactly. Don't touch snow. Touch some grass.
I did want to ask you about more about the controversy. What is the controversy? They're changing. Oh, there's a new CEO at Twitch, right?
Yeah.
How is
Yeah,
that
yeah.
for the company? Is that like make a big difference to you guys on the team?
I mean, like day to day, no. I'm just gonna speak honest. Like day to day, like no one's like, oh man, we wish we had like Emmett back. Like it was just like the passing. It was time, It was passing the torch. Like he was like the last founder of Twitch who was still there. And he did a lot. And it's crazy that he's been a part of Twitch for as long as he has been. But yeah, we got a new CEO, Dan Clancy. Cool guy.
Mhm.
He's a streamer. He streams actually, DJ Clancy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been cool. It's still like in a transition period, I would say, because when you change CEOs, like that takes a long time. Especially a company like Twitch. So I think we're still in a transition period.
Hmm.
But just being honest, like no, like I don't think morale has shifted. I don't think day to day operations have shifted. We're just like adjusting and uh, giving. I don't know, just like being there and supporting the change throughout for the whole company because it's a
That's
big
cool.
one.
How big is the company?
Like 2,000 people.
Wow, I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah, like
How are you?
2,200
Are you
people.
all in one building?
No. We have lots of offices. We have like our main HQ is in San Francisco, which is like a 6-floor building. We have a office in Seattle, which is where I'm at.
Okay.
There's an office in New York. I think there's an office in Utah. Like there's small offices spread throughout like the country, and we have like a lot like in Europe. Like there's like a European, or yeah, I think European HQ that's in the UK or something. Like I don't want to butcher it, but yeah, we have like facilities all around the world.
Hmm. Do you have like one event a year that's like the awesome fun event that you guys all get together for?
That's TwitchCon.
Oh, TwitchCon. Oh yeah, do you go to
Yeah,
TwitchCon
yeah.
all the time now?
I
Or you
went,
going to?
yeah. So since I started, I've only been to one because the first year I was at Twitch, it was gone due to COVID. So I joined, and then they couldn't do it, and then the first one back was like the return of TwitchCon, and that's when I went to, and it was so much fun. I got to meet a lot of like my friends, a lot of people that we know. I got to meet like some big time streamers too, so it was cool. My coworkers,
Do you guys have special privilege at TwitchCon as
yes,
staff? Yeah, like
yeah,
what?
we do. Like we're allowed to go into like certain like staff rooms. We get to have
Okay.
like, I don't know. I think there's some discounts that we get to. We get like our badge has like a special like ribbon on it. There's a
Ooh.
few perks like that, and honestly, I don't know if I should say this, but like if you are a staff badge, you can go into like locations that maybe like not everyone's allowed into, that kind of deal. Like we're like certain streamers are hanging out, certain big time streamers are hanging out. If you're staff, they're like, oh yeah, you can go, you can come in.
I see.
Hmm.
That's cool. That's like a nice little incentive for the staff to go
Like a
in.
nice little exclusive like pass. Yeah,
It's also like it's kind of incentive to get the staff to like actually pay attention to the streamers and the content that
yeah,
they're working on, because like
for sure.
if you're around this culture and you're like, oh, these people are like the cool people here, and like and you can go hang out with them, it's like, oh, maybe I
Yeah,
will watch them, maybe I will like learn about this. So it's kind of smart to let the
are you
staff.
gonna come to TwitchCon?
Oh, when is it? When's the next one?
October. It's in Las Vegas.
October. I should. I've never been to one.
That's crazy to me. I had a feeling you're gonna say that too. I had a feeling. I don't know why, but I just knew that you've been streaming for like however long you've been streaming that you've never gone to a TwitchCon. It was like I knew it.
I just feel like I'm not like Twitch is to me like people playing games or people like hanging out. I mean, I guess I hang out, but like I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a programmer. I feel like I would not. I feel like I'm not the same type of
Well,
streamer as everyone else.
so wrong, so wrong. At TwitchCon, I would say the programmers had the most fun.
There's even other programmer streamers go.
Oh yeah, are you
Yeah.
crazy? So many like Primogen, Rocks, Alt F4, CM Griffin, like all those people all went to TwitchCon, and it's so much fun.
It
Like
would be fun to hang out with all the other streamers that I
yes,
know and stuff.
yes,
Mostly
it is.
programmers are the only ones that really know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the best.
That sounds fun. You know what? Maybe I'll put that on my calendar.
Do it. Just do it. Just do it.
Just
You've
do
been
it.
streaming for so long. Why not? What do you have to lose at this point?
Nothing. You're right. You know what? I'm
Exactly.
going. Let's do it.
Exactly.
All right, cool. You've convinced me.
And I'm sure there's people who've watched you for so long who would love to just be like, hey, hello, how's it going? Because I met a few people that have watched me, and like, hey, how's it going? Like, that's dope. I'm like, hey. And like that's it. It's a close interaction.
That would be cool to meet viewers too. I don't get many
Yeah, yeah.
opportunities for that. Once in a
For
while I
sure.
do, but at like game dev events, but not really at like streaming events. So that might be
Yeah,
fun. That'd be
for sure.
it'd be crazy to meet like there's so many people who I know so well, but I don't know what they look like. I don't know what their real name is, but I know like everything about their skill base. I know the game they're
Yeah, yeah.
working on. I know like so many weird things about them. So it'd be cool to like actually see the person behind the username.
Yeah, I've met a few people that I know like through who watch me, like my mods. I've met a few in person. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's nice.
Hmm.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna set that up then. I'm gonna plan for that.
Sweet. I'm gonna hold you to it. I'm gonna remind you.
Okay.
Like 2 months down the line, I'm like, yo, did you buy your ticket? And you're
Okay.
gonna be like, oh no, but I'll do it. And then you're not gonna do it. I'm gonna remind you like 2 months later, like, yo, did you buy your ticket? You're like, oh okay, like blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna keep bugging you until you do it.
And I'll end up getting it like the day before. Like
Yeah,
I should
it's like
listen to Malky. My ticket price is so high. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining. It's been a
for
pleasure.
sure. For
It's
sure.
cool to
Thank
hear about all
you.
the stuff you're up to lately.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It was fun. This was a great talk. I really love what you're doing here. And like, I was super excited when you're like, hey, do you want to be on a podcast? Like, yeah, hell yeah. I was low key hoping like one day you'd invite me. When I saw you dropped and you're going into like the podcast world, I'm like, is she gonna invite me? Because like I kind of want to be on. So I was like stoked. And like, yo, you have time? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Awesome. It's funny because like I'm thinking of like all of my like friends online, acquaintances online. I'm like, I need to invite everyone. Like, what if
Yeah.
somebody wants to come on and I don't know? Like, I gotta ask everybody.
Yep. Yep. So
So
yeah,
I've got
thank you
lots
for
of cool
asking.
people to join on. What's that?
Hmm. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for joining. It's been really nice.
For sure.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later.
Yep. See ya.